staff, local staff, Gambians, to Germany to study how to use and operate this equipment.
Asked on their future plans, the president of the Rotary Club of Fajara has this to say.
One of them is to entice people like yourself to come and join the Rotary Club of Fajara, and then create awareness about Rotary in the country, build more projects for the benefit of the Gambian people.
According to Dr. Lee, with tumors on the face can make some of the basic routines such as eating, drinking or even breathing for the individual. He went on to highlight some of the causes of tumors, which includes excessive alcohol consumption and smoking, while describing the different types of tumors.
We have this side, we have a lot of tumor type. We have the squamous cell carcinoma, one of the most common tumors in the oral cavity. We have also, the tumors from the bone tissue. We call it osteosarcoma. And we have also something very special for this area. For example, the fibrous dysplasia. It's one kind of deformity. It's not a real tumor, but it makes the people become ugly,
The experienced surgeon expresses some of the challenges they face as surgeons when performing critical operations, particularly on children.
At first, this is a big challenge for the anesthetist, for the people to give them anesthesia, because this is very, very sensible for anesthesists to give them the general anesthesia, because of the body mass, because of the liquid, and because of all the drugs. They should calculate with the gram how heavy the child they are. And the second one, the young children, they don't have so much blood, and so you must do the operation in a very tiny bit.
According to the members of the team, they have so far treated 60 cases in 5 days and are also planning to do a joint venture with the Rotary Club of Fajara with the goal of improving the infrastructure of the clinic. New equipment that will be used during operations as well as staff training. To be able to perform these kinds of operations, one needs a lot of experience.
We want to send staff members to Germany. The project is, Dr. Lee is doing a lot of work here and a wonderful work, but every year we have more cases. They are really difficult.
Yes.
And to save more lives, we need an upgrade of our medical equipment.
Yes.
That means we need some new equipment and some better equipment to do more operations. And 3 staff members should go to Germany to train on this equipment.
The Rotary Club of Fajara has been in existence for over 12 years and has made numerous contributions to the Gambian society through various initiatives. Among their aims and objectives are to work together to make a positive contribution in their communities and the world at large. Members of the Rotary Club of Fajara and staff were later taking on a conducted tour of the facility. For Grts News, I am Fatou Janembe. CAR's interim president, Catherine Samba-Penzer, jets into Brazzaville with a plea message for help in ending her country's recent political and sectarian conflict and a little respite, at least for now. Serious warring factions agreed to open safe passage for desperate civilians to leave the heavily contested city of Homs. We will be back with those stories after this break.
The Tourism Board proudly presents the second edition of the Food and Beverage Festival in the Smiley Coast of Africa, the Gambia. Date on Saturday and Sunday, February 8th and February 9th, 2014. The second edition of the Food and Beverage Festival will be happening at the Green Mamba Gardens and Jacarlo Bar and Restaurant in Senegambia. Entertainment will be provided by the King of Kora, Jaliba Kuyate, and the Kumari Band will be present.
Food and Beverage Festival at home wallet 8 and 9 better avec Kela Sudo Mendel Dialaba. There
will be live performances by Gambian artists, drummers, actors, acrobats, singing competition, eating competition, wrestling competition, and many more. Prepare yourself for local and international cuisines, for they will be there in abundance. Entrance fee is only $100. Proudly sponsored by Banjul Breweries and
Welcome back and off to the international scene. Central African Republic's interim president, Catherine Samba-Panza, is in Brazzaville for her first official visit since becoming president of CAR. President Panza met with her host, President Denis Sassou Nguesso, who is mediating in the conflict. The CAR interim president calls for support from her regional colleagues to find a peaceful end to the sectarian conflict in her country. We have details in this report.
Catherine Samba-Panza made her first official foreign visit since being elected interim president of the Central African Republic. She is in Brazzaville, Congo, to meet with President Sassou Nguesso, who is acting as mediator in talks to end the Central African crisis. President Samba-Panza said the situation in her country remains extremely complicated. I came to power 15 days ago. In 15 days, I can't work miracles. But we are determined to succeed. That is why I am counting on other regional leaders. Congo has lost a number of its soldiers in the CAR since the crisis broke. President Nguesso is one of Africa's most influential leaders, and President Samba-Panza is counting on his help. She hopes the same of the Chadian president, Idriss Déby Itno, especially as 205 former Seleka rebels fled the Central African Republic to regroup in Doba in southern Chad. They brought with them 300 heavy caliber weapons, thousands of munitions, and 23 pickup trucks. An impressive arsenal. The Chadians are our brothers, and we turned over our weapons to them. We don't want the French to get mixed up in this affair. President Samba-Panza is calling on the Chadian government to increase its surveillance of the former rebels in Doba. They have already urged their brothers in arms to keep fighting. Central Africa's interim government says that as long as they remain at large, they present a threat to the country's stability.
Bosnia's old city of Sarajevo resembles a war zone as rampaging youths set fire to government buildings across the city. Reports say more than 150 people have been injured in the two-day protest. And for the first time in history, a member of the Spanish royal family stands in the dock. That unenviable record was set by the youngest daughter of King Juan Carlos, Cristina, who faced charges in the city of Mallorca to answer alleged fraud charges. We have details of that and other stories in this news roundup.
Bosnia's capital, Sarajevo, set fire to government buildings in countrywide riots that left over 150 injured. The city braced itself for further protests after 3 consecutive days of anger over the dire state of the Balkan country's economy, where unemployment stands at 44% and 1 in 5 people live below the poverty line. The unrest is occurring 20 years after the country's bloody inter-ethnic war. Ukraine launched a terror probe Saturday into a bid by an apparently drunk man to gain access to the cockpit to force an airliner flying to Turkey to land in Sochi, where leaders gathered for the opening of the Winter Olympics. 2 F-16 Turkish jets forced down the airliner at Istanbul's airport. The drunken man was arrested and found not to have guns or explosives. First, her lawyers entered the court. Then Spain's Princess Cristina did on the island of Mallorca for a fraud hearing. King Juan Carlos' youngest daughter, who is 48, went to answer fraud accusations in an historic first for the scandal-hit royal Spanish family. Her husband, Iñaki Erdogan, was summoned to appear before the same judge 2 years ago and was indicted for laundering allegedly embezzled money.
Well, desperate civilians caught up in the more than 2-year civil war in Syria are having a moment of reprieve. Hundreds have been given safe passage to leave the heavily contested city of Homs. This comes after the two sides agreed to a ceasefire to allow civilians, mainly women and children, chance to leave the battered city. We have details in this report.
A 3-day ceasefire has been declared in Homs to allow the evacuation of civilians, and fighting has trapped in the old city for a year and a half. The ceasefire is being hailed